In the autumn of 2011, 9 children disappeared from the same village in 7 days. No war, no flood, no disease. They were simply gone. The regional authorities sealed the investigation within 30 days. The lead officer filed for early retirement, and one name, a 14-year-old girl called Ada Mensah, was quietly removed from the official missing persons list before her father even knew she had been added to it. That morning, Ada was supposed to write the most important exam of her life. She never arrived. The village. Abokobi. Population 4,300. A place most people pass through on their way to somewhere larger, known for its yam market, its single functioning borehole, and a primary school built in 1967 that still used the same wooden desks, the ones with inkwell holes that hadn't seen ink in 40 years. The kind of village where everyone knows whose goat got loose, and whose daughter got her heart broken, and whose father drank too much on Friday nights. The kind of village where strangers are noticed, which is why what happened between the 3rd and 9th of October 2011 makes no sense. In that 7-day window, 9 children between the ages of 10 and 16 failed to come home. They left their compounds in the morning, the way they did every morning. Some were seen at the roadside, one was spotted buying a sachet of water at the market, another was seen waving to a classmate across the road. None of them made it past 8 a.m. None of them were seen after that wave, that purchase, that ordinary morning moment that turned out to be the last one anyone witnessed. 8 of the 9 came from families with no connections, no influence, and no money to chase a system that had never worked for them. No lawyers, no journalists on speed dial, no relatives in the capital who could make a phone call that would be answered. They could not afford to be ignored. And yet, the 9th child was Ada Mensah. And her story is the one I want to tell you tonight, because out of everything I found in the months I spent trying to understand what happened in Abokobi, her story is the one that stayed with me, the one I couldn't put down, the one that didn't add up, in ways that frightened me. Ada Mensah. Ada Mensah was 14 years old. She weighed 41 kilograms. She wore her school uniform, navy blue skirt, white blouse, on weekdays and also on weekends, because it was the only outfit she owned without a visible tear. Her patched the hem twice herself, using thread she unraveled from an old sack. Her teacher would later say, "You could not tell." Her mother's name was Grace. Grace Mensah died of a treatable fever in 2008. Treatable if you had transport money and clinic fees, which the Mensah family did not. Ada was 11. She did not miss a single day of school the following week. Her teacher, Mr. Ofuri, said she arrived early every morning and sat very still at her desk and worked like someone trying to outrun a feeling. Her father, Emmanuel Mensah, was 43 years old and had farmed cassava on the same plot of land since he was 19. He had not remarried after Grace died. Neighbors said he cooked every evening and waited for Ada to come home before he ate, that he walked her to the junction every morning and stood there until she turned the corner and disappeared from view before he went back to the farm. He was not an educated man. He could write his name and read a price board at the market, but he had decided, the way some people make decisions that become the architecture of their entire life, that Ada would get the education he never had. That Ada would leave Abokobi not because she was running from it, but because she had earned the right to choose something larger. And she had. Ada had placed first in the district qualifying examination, outscoring 847 other students. She was nominated for the Akosombo Regional Academic Scholarship, a grant that covered 3 years of secondary school in the capital, fees, books, uniform, a dormitory bed, transport home twice a year. For a man farming cassava to feed himself and his daughter, this was not simply good news. This was the whole plan, the entire reason for everything. 3 years of early mornings and kerosene burnt past midnight and a uniform mended with unraveled sack thread, all of it pointed here, to this letter, to this morning. Emmanuel ironed her uniform the night before with a coal iron he borrowed from the woman next door. He polished her shoes with a cloth and a tin of black polish he had saved for 3 months to buy. He made her eat a full breakfast, rice and egg, even though they did not normally have egg on a weekday. At 6:45 in the morning, Emmanuel walked her daughter to the junction. They did not speak much. Ada was focused, the way she always got before something important her teacher had said. A stillness came over her. At the junction, she turned to him. She said, "I'll do well, Papa." He said he knew she would. She turned right at the fork and walked away from him down the red dust road, her pencil case under one arm, the brown envelope with her registration slip tucked under the other. Emmanuel watched until she turned the bend in the road and passed out of sight. Then he went home to wait. She never came back. The night before. Here is something that did not appear in any official report. Something that only emerged when a community health worker named Sister Pilipa Amoa spoke to a local radio station in 2013, a broadcast that was later pulled from the station's archive without explanation. The night before Ada disappeared, the night of October 3rd, several children in the village reported seeing something on the main road. They described it differently. One child said it was a truck, white, with no markings, parked at the northern edge of the village with its engine off and its lights out. Another said it was 2 men standing by the roadside, very still, for a very long time. A third child, a boy of 12 named Kofi, who was one of the 9 who vanished, told his mother he had seen a man writing things in a notebook outside the school gate at dusk, just standing there, writing and watching. Kofi's mother reported this to police on October 7th. She was told it was not relevant. The description of the man with the notebook was not included in any case document we could locate. 3 other parents independently mentioned an unfamiliar car driving slowly through the village in the days preceding the disappearances. Different parents, different days, same car, white, no plates visible. No vehicle matching that description was ever traced. No inquiry was ever opened into it. Nobody told Emmanuel Mensah any of this.
The morning of 6:30 to 8:30. The exam was scheduled for 8 a.m. at St. Teresa's Community School, 1.6 kilometers from the Mensah compound, 800 meters from the fork in the road. Ada had walked it 6 days a week for 3 years. She knew every pothole, every dog that barked from behind a particular gate, every shortcut she chose not to take because the main road was safer. At 7:15 a.m., a groundnut seller named Abena Owusu was arranging her stall at the fork. She saw Ada come around the corner from the direction of the Mensah compound. She says Ada looked calm and focused. She says Ada was wearing her uniform and carrying her things. She says Ada looked the way she always looked on school mornings, like she had somewhere to be and nothing was going to stop her. Abena says Ada smiled at her. Ada turned right. The school was 800 meters ahead. No turns, no branching paths, just one road straight to the gate. Abena went back to her groundnuts. That was the last confirmed sighting of Ada Mensah. She did not reach the school gate. At 8:15, the examination supervisor marked her absent. There were 22 students in the room and 1 empty chair, the one assigned to the girl who had placed first in the district. The supervisor waited until 8:45 before beginning. Then he started the exam. Emmanuel Mensah learned his daughter was missing not from the school, not from police, not from any official body. He learned from a neighbor's child who came running to his compound in the early afternoon with news that had spread through the village the way only terrible news does, fast, shapeless, and arriving just slightly too late. The scholarship board had already removed Ada's name from the candidate list by 9:45 that morning, before Emmanuel knew she was gone, before any report had been filed, before any search had begun. Her name was struck through in the records and the grant was reallocated within 48 hours. Someone knew she was not coming back before her father did. The other 8, 8:30 to 9:45. I want to say their names because this story is Ada's, But it is also theirs, and they have been largely forgotten by everyone except the people who loved them. Kofi Asante, 12, Darko, 10, Samuel Oppong, 15, Efua Mensah, no relation to Ada, 13, Bright Tetteh, 11, Joyce Adjei, 14, Prince Boateng, 16, Abigail Frimpong, 10. 8 children, 8 families who went to police and were given reference numbers, 8 sets of parents who pooled money for transport to the regional capital and were turned away at desks, 8 households that slowly, quietly went still, the way houses go still when the person who animated them is no longer there. None of the 8 have ever been found. No remains, no trace, no contact from any of them in the 14 years since. 8 children and a system that looked at their families and decided the paperwork could wait. What we found, 9:45 to 11:15. In the months I spent looking into this, 3 things emerged that I cannot explain and that no official source has ever addressed. First, the timing. All 9 children disappeared in a 72-hour window centered on the morning of October 5th, though the dates of disappearance were spread over 7 days in official records. A community elder who collected testimony from the families and presented it to a local NGO said the date discrepancy was intentional, that at least 4 of the reported dates were changed in the official log. He filed a formal complaint. The complaint was acknowledged. No action was taken. The elder died of a stroke in 2015. Second, the scholarship. The Akosombo Regional Academic Scholarship, which Ada had been nominated for, was funded through a private foundation with government co-sponsorship. In 2011, the foundation's board included 3 members who also sat on the advisory committee of a commercial agricultural expansion program operating in the district. That program had been quietly acquiring land in and around Abokobi since 2009. Efua Mensah's cassava farm sits on a plot that program representatives had visited twice, asking both times if he would consider selling. Both times he had said no. I am not saying these things are connected. I am saying I could not stop thinking about it. Third, the witness. Abena Ousu, the groundnut seller who last saw Ada smile, gave a statement to police on October 6th. I found a reference to that statement in a case index. The statement itself was not in the file. When I asked about it, I was told the document had been misfiled during a 2014 office reorganization. When I asked to see the reorganized files, I was told access required a written request. I submitted the request. It was denied on grounds of ongoing investigation for a case that the same office told me was closed. Efua Mensah is now in his late 50s. He still lives in the same compound. He still farms the same land. He did not sell it. He kept the scholarship letter, the one with Ada's name on it, the one telling her she had won, that she had earned it, that a seat was waiting for her. The paper is soft now from years of handling. One corner is taped where it tore along a fold. A freelance journalist named Boateng visited him in 2014. She spent 3 days in Abokobi. She recorded her interviews. She told Efua she was going to make people listen. Her article was never published. The editor she submitted it to said the piece needed more verification. She resubmitted with additional documentation. She received no further response. She has not published anything since 2015. Efua told her one thing that has stayed with me since I read her unpublished draft, which she shared privately, and I am not going to reproduce in full for respect for what she built. But he said this. He said, "I don't need anyone to tell me what happened. I need someone to say her name somewhere that people can hear it, so the world knows she was here, that she worked hard, that she deserved more than this." He checks the junction road every morning before sunrise. He has done it every morning for 14 years. The ending, 12:30 to 13:45. As of the time this video was prepared, No arrest has ever been made in connection with the disappearance of any of the 9 children of Abokobi. No body has been recovered, no trace, no contact from any of them in the 14 years since they walked down that road. The 9 children would be between 23 and 29 years old today. Ada Mensah would be 27. If she is alive, she has never appeared in any official record, no national ID, no institution enrollment, no hospital visit, no social register in the 14 years since she walked down that road. If she is not alive, no one has said so. I tried to contact Abena Ousu, the last person to see her. I found a number through a community directory. It rang out the first time. I called again the following morning. The number had been disconnected overnight. I am not sure what to do with that. I have been sitting with it for a while now. I sent a formal inquiry to the district office, the regional police command, and the foundation that administered the scholarship. The district office did not reply. The regional police confirmed a case reference exists and said it was under review. The Scholarship Foundation's website, which I accessed on a Tuesday, returned a domain error by Thursday morning. Her name was Ada Mensah. She was 14 years old, she weighed 41 kilograms, she mended her own uniform with thread from a sack and placed first out of 847 children. Her father ironed her clothes and fed her egg on a weekday and walked her to the junction and believed completely that she was going to make it. She turned right at the fork, she smiled at the woman selling groundnuts, and then the road took her. If you know anything, or if this story sounds familiar to you in ways you cannot immediately explain, leave it in the comments. I read every one.